Welcome to Talk About Tomorrow. I'm Sophie Sadler, and this is the podcast where we talk about news, information, and gossip from the Algarve and interview local people. Hello, and welcome to the first edition of our new podcast, Talk About Tomorrow. It's very exciting, the very first one that we are doing. And we were thinking, who could we interview for the first Talk About Tomorrow? And of course, who else would we interview apart from our very own media mogul and all-round legend, Tom Henshaw? So we today are going to talk to Tom about setting up the magazine, how it all came about, because we just celebrated our 150th edition.
151st.
Well, this was the 151st, yeah, the one before was the 150th. Yeah. So how does that feel to have got to 150 copies, editions?
As I've said to you before, Sophie, you feel very proud to think from the very humble beginnings of the first one at 4 pages, which was a struggle, to be doing now 80, 90 pages is just brilliant.
Yeah, and I'm holding now the very first edition, which is basically just 4 pages,
yeah.
A sort of A3 folded, just very small, just 1, 2, 3, 4 pages of text. And it says that the reason behind it, the idea was that we believe that a newsletter promoting our network of friends in the community is long overdue. So what was the sort of motivation behind starting this?
My first thought was produce something about helping hands, people who needed help, like we get involved with all sorts of charities. We need to help people along the way when they're having a hard time. That was the real start of it. So my thought was to call it Helping Hands. But in the end, my son, Chad, as you know, suggested the name Tomorrow, looking forward to the future.
Yeah, yeah. And of course, that's like grown immensely now, hasn't it? From Helping Hands to a registered charity tagged.
Yeah.
That's a monumental achievement. And who did you help initially? Can you remember any of the charities or people that you helped from the start?
I think we started off helping Caslas, the children's home,
right,
almost immediately.
Yeah.
And I can't remember, the soup kitchen wasn't going then.
Yeah.
So I can't think of anyone. But we weren't obviously raising a lot of money at the time. So it was just that local charity.
Yeah, and I see here you were doing a lift club, so a sort of volunteer scheme. We thought a good idea would be to ask among our members to participate in a lift club scheme. So you were obviously, even in those days, trying to think of ways to sort of help the community.
Exactly. The idea was that to help people to airports or shopping.
Yeah.
People who couldn't do it themselves.
Yeah. And what's amazing, I'm looking at this first newsletter, was that 3 of your first advertisers still advertise with us today.
That's amazing, isn't it?
So we've got Bovista.
Bovista, yes.
Who advertised in the first one. We've got Petsmates.
Yes,
so
he's still writing.
Lars still writes a column. And also Anderjon with Fit to Love Life, and they're still contributing.
And if you look on the back page, we've still got most of those people.
Oh, yeah, Lugestock are there, and they still...
LVC.
Yeah.
Yes. So
that's fantastic.
Big support from the local businesses, and continues, doesn't it?
Yeah. I mean, can you remember when you first got the idea to actually set up the registered charity tact and why you decided to do that?
Well, at the time, Stephen Sutton wanted to know how to start something here. Mm-hmm. And he wanted to do deep clean of villas and things like that. And so we talked about the charity, because he obviously was interested in charity, and he set it up originally.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
That was really good. And of course, now it's carried on with Phil and everybody.
And Phil now sort of manages that. And
yes.
Of course, we've now just had the latest summer ball, which sadly was the first one actually you hadn't been able to attend.
Couldn't believe it. It was Julie's birthday was in England for it, so I wouldn't have been here.
Yeah.
But I believe it was a great event.
Yeah, because Julie's just turned 70, right?
Yeah.
So you couldn't miss that one. Yeah.
Good thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, tell everybody.
Oh no, she's turned 69, sorry.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was great. I went, and everyone was dressed up in bright colours and garlands around their neck, and we raised 4,500 for charity.
Again, brilliant, isn't it?
Yeah, and that went to I believe, Cadella Carlotta, because they're trying to raise money for their new cat shelter. And the rest went to the Bomberish.
Yeah,
so
brilliant.
2 great charities.
I think we've raised, I'm not quite sure exactly, but well over 100,000 now.
Wow. That's
Which
quite...
in the years that we've been doing it, it's pretty fantastic, really.
And of course, we've got the backing of another legend, John Aldridge.
He's been great because he was working with a man from Ireland who decided he didn't want to run his charity anymore.
Yeah.
So he suggested that we did, and Phil and I got involved and met John Aldridge, and it's been a great success ever since.
Yeah.
Most of the funds that he raises at their events come to Portugal now rather than to where they were going in England.
Yeah, yeah.
So yes, we support. He likes to support Nessie and the children's home, soup kitchen. Yeah. Lots of charities.
Yeah, and he has the golf day, doesn't he? Is it
2
twice?
golf days every year, which is a brilliant success.
Yeah, and he brings over lots of people to play, and we raise lots of money for charity that way as well. Yeah. So that's great. And I think also another great thing about this magazine, which I really like to focus on, is also promoting charities through the magazine, because I always have people writing to me every month, oh, can we promote this, or can we promote the fact that we raise this amount of money? And it's still, I think, a really important element of the magazine that we are promoting charitable causes. And, you know, if a child needs some medical help, we promote that. And
Vincente and all those.
Vincent,
provide
Constanza.
Yeah, exactly. And when we were working with Castas, we had a lady, I won't mention her name, but she came up with the idea that she wanted to give a TV.
Oh, right, yeah.
And when she'd come across with me, we went at a nearby bar, we went across to Castas. Yeah. And she said, no, I'd like to refurbish the whole place.
Oh, wow, yeah.
And they did. Brilliant. It was brilliant.
Yeah, and I remember as well when we gave the sensory centre to the
Chester.
The place next to the health centre, wasn't it?
Exactly.
And it's a home for people with disabilities, and we raised the money for a sensory centre. And that was an amazing achievement, that we were able to give the people there, many of whom are sort of autistic, the chance to have a facility like that where they can go. And I think there was like a light chamber, and
exactly.
It was fantastic. Yeah. So how did this all come about? So how did you first arrive, and why, in the Algarve?
Right. Well, I was married at the time, and we came over to visit one of Margaret's daughters, who was going out with Toby Wan.
Oh, yes, okay.
And we liked the place, so we thought how lovely it was to be here.
Yeah. And
so we decided to set up and come here. And that's exactly how it happened. It was very straightforward.
It's all thanks to Toby Wan.
Toby Wan, yes.
I'm sure his wife would be really happy to hear that. So why did you sort of move? Because I think your initial business back in Stoke-on-Trent was furniture, wasn't it?
I was in the furniture business for many years.
Yeah.
And then I got into financial difficulties with product from Taiwan, which caused us to go out of business. Oh. So then we came back. Courts Furniture said they would like me to work with them overseas. Yeah. So I got the job working overseas with them.
Oh, whereabouts were you?
Bali first, followed by Fiji. So it was a great move.
So you got your sort of taste of living abroad.
I couldn't help it then.
Yeah.
And then we settled here. We loved it.
Yeah.
And there we are.
And I think there's a funny story about another sort of entrepreneurial endeavour that didn't quite go as well as Tomorrow, called the Zit chair. Can you tell me about that?
If you really want to know, yes, of course. We came up with this idea that furniture could be purchased on a rack, chairs, like a deck chair, but you chose your own covers, your own colour of the stain of the wood, etc. Okay. And I rented the Ritz, one of the rooms in the Ritz Hotel in London. We had a Ritz cocktail. We had Jan Leeming came to open the show.
Oh my goodness, I remember her, yes.
And there were two big black singers with bayonets and came in with trilby hats on. It was brilliant. Absolutely. So believe it or not, I think we did actually sell 1 or 2 chairs.
Okay.
So it was a total disaster.
And did Jan Leeming buy one?
No.
Oh, well, I think that was actually sort of fortunate for Tomorrow magazine, maybe that didn't succeed.
Well, I'll let you say that. Yes, it's very good.
So why, when you first started out, you had obviously a backer who was called, what was
Jane? You mean with the magazine?
Yes.
Well, yeah, we didn't put any money in, really, to be honest. It was just that she was going to help me. It was like having somebody to support the business at the beginning, involved with running around taking deliveries of the magazines to different places. Yeah, and that's how Jane was involved.
Yes.
But then because she's such a world traveller, she's never here. So she had to give it up because she just wasn't in the country long enough because she was in Africa a lot, having family over there. So that's the reason.
And I hear like the first edition didn't go to plan because wasn't it in February and you didn't actually get it till...
The first edition is the one you've seen.
Yeah.
That was November.
Okay.
And then there's the Valentine's edition.
That was it. 14th
of February, as we know. And the magazine, you won't believe this, but it arrived on the 21st.
So after Valentine's Day.
It was from Germany. It was printed in Germany at the time. They had terrible weather. And we ended up with not getting the magazines till the 21st. I had to give all the money back.
Oh no, yeah, because everyone had put the adverts in for Valentine's Day.
It's another lesson. That's why we're very strict about trying to get them by the 1st of every month.
And I think there was one occasion where didn't the magazines get stuck in Algarve or something?
Yeah, then we had about 5, they got stuck at their warehouse. And so we went with different cars down to the warehouse to fill up the cars, to bring them back to get the magazines out on the 1st.
Yeah, and it's still a slight issue we have, didn't we? They were late this month as well.
Yeah, they were late this month, which is disappointing.
We
get people ringing up, as you know.
Yeah.
To complain, obviously, but we do like ourselves to have it here, so everybody knows when it's coming out and they can pick them up immediately.
Yeah, well, I think I got so many messages this month because people just expect to go and pick it up on the 1st of the month, don't they?
They do.
And sadly, there was a transport issue, and everyone was like, "Where's tomorrow? Where's tomorrow?"
Yeah, it's hard when it happens. Yeah, it does make people feel you're letting them down.
Yeah, but we work really hard, don't we, to try to get it
out. We really do.
And sometimes the circumstances. Hey, listeners, are you ready to be so good that they cannot ignore you? Our friends at Creation Media do it all: branding, marketing, social media, websites, and CRM systems. Their strength lies in playing the long game and taking time to really understand your business, aims, customers, and processes to provide you with the marketing strategies that take you to the next level. Are you ready to elevate your business? Visit Creation Media at www.creation-media.net and get started today. So I know that you're still obviously from the first newsletter where your aim was to help the community. And you're still trying to do that with Loose Ends, aren't you? Tell me a bit about Loose Ends.
Well, Loose Ends, the idea is very straightforward. We join a WhatsApp group so that people can come along to a meeting to meet each other and get to know each other and then do things separately on their own. Yeah. So if I wanted to go out, if I had no partner, to go out and do something and go for a lunch or a drink, I'd say, anybody up for going for a drink today or a lunch today? Yeah. And that was the idea of Loose Ends. So people who are on their own, lonely, partners died, whatever, they can join the group and feel part of something new.
Yeah, and I think the slogan is just because you're on your own.
Don't be alone just because you're on your own.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good slogan, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it's a great slogan. And you have like one sort of set meeting, don't you, every month where you all
Yes,
get together, and then separately people can contact each other if they just want
That's
to.
exactly the idea. You just put on the WhatsApp, I'm going to go to the cinema tonight, 4:00. Anybody like to go?
Yeah.
That's as simple as that.
Yeah. And how many members do you have, do you think?
I suppose we've got about 35.
That's brilliant.
It's not really enough. I think it should be bigger.
Yeah.
I would have thought more people would want to join.
Yeah.
Really.
Well, yeah, perhaps more people need to know about it.
Well, slowly but surely,
Yeah.
we put it in the magazine, the WhatsApp, and the events column, don't we?
Yeah.
Every month. So it's an opportunity for people to follow up.
Yeah, and I know I've just put something in this month about a ladies' brunch club, which is a similar idea about ladies that feel on a Sunday.
Is this Liz Ryan?
Yeah.
It's going really well.
Yeah, I know.
And that's a Sunday, isn't it?
Yeah, because she says on a Sunday, if you're on your own, it can feel very lonely because most people go and have lunches with family or whatever. So she set up a Sunday brunch, but she says what's funny is a lot of women who are married go as well because they just want a break from their husband.
Well, fair enough, isn't it? I think she's done really well. How many members she got?
Yeah, she's got a lot. I can't remember exactly, but yeah, I think over 80 certainly. And then there's lots of new walking groups as well. There was another one we spoke about in this magazine called the Fresh Life Club. And that's a young lady who just wants to get women together, exercising, bonding. And that's what we're trying to promote, isn't it?
You won't realise, but we have a walking, tomorrow still has a walking group that goes from Barlinda. I think it's every Tuesday. It's been going for almost since we started. And everybody just turns up to take their dog for a walk.
Yeah. And then you also were kind of instrumental in starting the choir, weren't you, with Elizabeth?
I met Liz Roberts, as you know, and she's a lovely woman. And she really, when she was coming to live in Portugal, she wanted something to do. And she seemed the most logical with a musical background to start the club, choir, I should say. And so we started the choir with a few members. Luke at Fortaleza was very kind. He gave us his room to do it. Yeah. And so now she's got about 50, 60 people that are in the choir.
Yeah.
Done well. She still runs it. I don't get involved very much, but I was invited to their 10th anniversary, which was good.
Yeah, and during COVID, so much was said about, choirs and how it's so important to be part of something like that for feeling of like well-being. And I know everyone really suffered during COVID because they couldn't be part of things like this.
No.
So it's just such a great thing, and we go and watch them every Christmas, sing their carols and everything.
They're great. They go to different places, like they go upstairs at the lighthouse.
Yeah.
And I think they go to Key as well.
Yeah, and they sing by the church, I think.
Oh yeah, they do.
Yeah. Why do you think that Tomorrow has been so successful? Like, why do you think people like it?
I think people like it because they believe in the local community and they want to support something that, if you like, is instrumental in being part of the community. And they see that what we do, like the charity stuff and the balls and all the other things we've done over the years, they see it does good for this area and they want to be part.
I agree. I think there's like a very strong sense of community here, and I don't think necessarily the publication would work so well in other areas, but I think everyone here feels a strong sense of community. And of course, the magazine is a community magazine, right? So it promotes the feeling of togetherness and coming together. And what I always makes me happy is how many Portuguese read it.
I know, we are lucky how many people do read it.
Yeah.
I never, when I'm walking around or delivering or popping to new clients, I've never seen one on the floor look as though it's been abandoned or destroyed or whatever. Never.
No.
Never seen one.
Yeah.
So it's very good.
No.
Very rarely do we have any left in any shop or business where we promote them.
Yeah. And we've just, by popular demand, put it back in Monchique last month because I think we had a gap where we didn't have it there, but so many people wrote and asked for it. So it's back in Monchique now in Intermarché.
We don't produce enough magazines, is the truth.
Yeah, we can't, can we?
We can't afford to do it, but we'd love to.
Yeah, the print costs have got difficult.
So high,
Yeah. So obviously a lot of people read the digital version now.
That's brilliant. How many copies? 8,000 digital readers or more, I believe.
Yeah. And we can look at where those readers are, and they're all over the world. So
It's
it must
good,
be
isn't it?
people that come here or visit regularly
Yeah.
and like to keep up on
Yeah.
what's.
I've got family here, and then they take a magazine back with them and
Yeah.
stuff like that, and
Yeah.
book it online, which is great.
And you know, we wrote the story about Margaret Thompson, who'd visited the Algarve over 120 times.
Oh,
And
yes.
we send
That
her
was a
now
very
a
good
copy,
article.
don't we, every
Yeah,
month? So
yeah.
if people want to subscribe, we send one to her, and she says she passes it around the village.
Yeah. I'm very pleased that the camera have played such a big part, and we had a meeting with the president, didn't we? And how big a part they play. They're in this month coming up, advertising with us again. But they're very supportive of the magazine.
Oh, they're brilliant. So helpful, and always give us the information which we need to obviously pass to our readers. There's a gentleman there, Fabio, who's just brilliant, isn't he?
Absolutely great.
And I couldn't believe how nice the president was in giving us so much time, and
Yeah.
and how open he was with all.
Yeah, he was. He gave us half an hour originally, and we were there an hour and a half.
Hour. Yeah, yeah. It was amazing. Yeah, so that was great. So tell me, because the people who produce the magazine and do the social media are obviously Creation Media, which is run by another legend, Phil.
Mr. Harding.
Mr. Harding. How did you come to get involved with Phil?
Well, I'd actually met him once before when he was doing some work for somebody, but then I'm having a coffee or a lunch at Oasis on the marina, and he was on the next table, and I said, maybe we could have a chat, and that was it. And he said, come in the office, and we got together and slowly developed the bond. It's been a very good bond.
Yeah, because you're friends now. And
I hope so.
Well,
you never know.
There are days.
we think so. Yes.
Yeah, and Phil, I think, was quite passionate about print media, wasn't he? And it was something he really wanted to get involved with.
Yeah, he's been brilliant, and his team, as you know, they've done a great job. Social media, all the services that we offer through them is like we can give a free design service.
Yeah.
Which, because they incorporate it in their very reasonable prices.
Yeah, and they design all the adverts. And then recently, obviously, with the changing times, social media has become more important. And I think Sam and Rebecca have kind of made you a social media star as well, haven't they?
I think they have. I keep trying not to be, but they seem to want me to be. Well, anyway.
You always keep popping up on my feed doing some dance.
We've done some daft things, but it doesn't really matter. It's a bit of fun.
My children always enjoy watching them because they mimic some of the like TikTok things, and they recognize it. And I think that's another thing, isn't it, that I've certainly noticed, that the demographic of people here has got younger. So we are now trying to appeal to a younger demographic, aren't we?
We're just starting working with a client, or very soon to open a new space for a digital nomad.
Yes, I saw that.
Well, there's two of them actually. There's one on the big estate by Furniture World.
Yeah.
And then there's another one at Porta de Mosh.
Yeah.
A lady named Geraldine. She's starting this. It's waiting for building work to be finished, but very soon it will be. And so, yes, it's good, isn't it, that people like that are coming to work here because they feel it's safe, great community, and so on.
Yeah, no, it's definitely, since I've been here, because I've been here over 20 years now, and it was very much retired people.
I remember when you came.
Do you?
Sadler's.
Yes, do you
in the first office when you were up
yeah.
Yeah.
And I remember you used to come in every month selling advertising.
Working my little what's it.
Yeah, I used to think what a lovely man you were. Who knew that I'd be working with you 20 years later.
Exactly.
Yeah. And sort of, how do you think, apart from obviously younger people, are there any other big changes in the Algarve that you've noticed? Because what year did you come here?
2000.
Yeah.
So I've been here 24 years.
I was 2003. So what's changed apart from younger people, do you think? Is there?
Well, everybody said it was a bit like a third world country, but I don't think it now. It's developed so much. There's a lot more property, and I think businesses are much more interested in their customers. Yeah. When I first came, they could be a little bit, slow to get to know you.
Yes.
It's probably the better way of putting it.
Yes, the polite way of putting it.
But they are all very outgoing and friendly, I find.
Yes.
Wherever I go.
Yeah, and I find that that's one of the big draws of this area, about how friendly Portuguese people are and welcoming to everyone, and actually how what wonderful stories and history and culture this area has as well. Yeah, I find that what the stories that seem to appeal to a lot of people are the Meet the Locals feature.
That's a great idea, isn't it? That really is.
Yeah.
Bringing people in, a road sweeper we've had, haven't we? And
yeah.
all sorts of.
The cow herder,
Yeah.
goat farmer, and those are the articles that people like to read the most.
And they like history as well, don't they?
Yes.
They do like the history of the area.
Yes. No, I think that that's one of the reasons that people appreciate the magazine, is because we talk to the local people, not just the expats.
Exactly.
So.
We want anybody that could help themselves through our magazine to step up the ladder or whatever.
Yeah. Okay, well, I think it's time to have a little break and finish our coffees, and we'll be back later, so don't go anywhere. You don't want to miss the opportunity to advertise with us at Tomorrow Magazine. Send us an email or give us a call. You can find all of our contact information on our website, www.tomorrowalgarve.com. Go to the contact section and give us a call. Connect with the Algarve community today. And probably one of the most challenging times for us, like many other businesses, was COVID, right? So that was a tough time.
We just didn't know what we were going to do. And it was a nightmare thinking, well, we can't deliver a magazine. What do we do? So between Phil and myself, we just decided to go digital for 2 months. And the clients, the customers, were brilliant. We couldn't charge them full price for a magazine that didn't come out, but it worked, so they paid and they continued to advertise. So it was a win-win for us, really. It kept the clients with us rather than losing them.
And they just showed such amazing support for us, didn't they? Because a lot of them, their businesses were shut.
Yeah, couldn't do anything, could they?
No,
they were stuck.
But they still continued advertising and supporting us. And I think, obviously, for people who were in lockdown, having the magazine still come out, albeit digitally, was a good...
Yeah, because we didn't cut back on the quality or the editorial or the articles, did we?
No.
We tried to keep it as sparkling as you always do.
Yeah, no, exactly. So I think it was just enormous thanks to the people that stuck with us.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that we could keep it going and we didn't have to stop. So that was... So I know when you first evolved the magazine into from the newsletter, you had the help of your daughter, Amber, who was editor. So tell me about Amber.
Well, Amber worked for us almost not from the beginning, but almost. She was a BBC journalist before she came to us. But she got another job in helping children in London with the government, under the support of the government, for abused women and children. So she had 3 jobs on the go. So in the end, she couldn't really give the full support to the magazine. So she decided to leave.
Yeah, and that was obviously when I came on board.
When you came on board, we had another glowing character.
Yes, well, thank you. And we also can't forget Jeff, who was also the editor with me, and he sadly passed away last year, but he was a great character as well.
He was a great character. And to be honest, his father got in touch with me. No, I think we wanted some details to write an article about Jeff.
That was it, yeah.
So I rang his dad, and he invited us all out for a meal. And he's invited us in June. So we're all going out with him again. He's a sparkling guy.
Yeah.
Really nice man.
Yeah, it was sad, but he was a part of the team that evolved the magazine as well.
Yes.
And Amber was fantastic, obviously, in getting it all set up, because, as you say, she was such an experienced journalist.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And recently, of course, we can't forget that we all went to Delhi Darbar for your 80th birthday.
Ooh! Don't mention it.
Now, I'm sure no one looking at this would ever believe you're 80. So what's the secret to your eternal youth?
I only wear Lidl soap. No, I've no idea because
No Botox?
no Botox.
Oh,
No,
can't
no,
believe
I've
it.
never had anything. No, seriously, I've never. I don't know. I don't think I look that good.
Oh, well, you do. You look amazing.
Well, thank you.
And so you are continuing, obviously, to at 80 to run the magazine. And what are you looking forward to in the future? Which direction do you see it moving in?
Well, I can see obviously Phil taking more control over the business, but I'd like to continue working as long as I can because I love meeting the people. I love being involved in charity events, including the ball that I missed. But, whatever we can do together, as we are a great team, aren't we? Working well together.
Yeah.
I'd like to continue.
Yeah, we are a good team, and I think everyone enjoys working together. And it is a passion project, isn't it, really?
Very much so. That, we have, as you just said, it's a passion project. But it's lovely working with people that are like-minded, and we've never had a minute's disagreement with how we go forward. Sometimes Phil makes a decision that I don't always agree with, and we compromise somewhere in the middle.
Yeah.
But so it's been a great.
Yeah. And I think we also need to thank, all the people that write for the magazine. Now that started, I think, with one of your first feature writers was Lena, isn't that
Lena
right?
Strang.
Yeah.
And she did always, and she's still with us, isn't she?
Yeah.
Writing articles, interesting stuff. She wrote about the building down here that's almost falling apart but needs repair.
Yeah.
Very interesting. She's a good writer.
Yeah. I think, wasn't it that you met her at a drinks party or something, and she said she wanted to write a book? And you said, well, no, write articles for us or something.
And then write your book from using the articles you've written in the magazine. And that's what she did, really, at the start.
Yeah, now she's published several books.
Yeah. Yes, she's done well, hasn't she?
Yeah. No, she's a great contributor. And we also have Vaughan, who seems to always manage to get the celebrity articles.
Brilliant.
Highlight for me was when he managed to persuade Bonnie Tyler to talk to us. Now, I bet you never could have foreseen when you started we'd have an interview with Bonnie Tyler.
Of course not. No. I mean, who would? At 4 pages.
Yeah, exactly. And I think another person that we've helped so much and written a lot about is Vincent, isn't it?
Yeah, I think that's been one of our... It really makes you feel good when you've been able to help a child like that develop, because he's needed a lot of attention. I'm not sure what it is. MS,
yeah,
is it?
No, he was born with a disability that affects his speech and his movement, and he's needed an awful lot of physio.
Yeah.
And so we've contributed towards his physio, and we bought a bike for him, didn't we?
Yes, we did. We did.
Yeah.
And there was another, on the same vein, we had a lady who worked in Intermarché. Well, didn't work there. She was in a wheelchair in Intermarché, and she couldn't speak. And we bought her lessons to have vocal training. I'm not saying she got so much better, but it definitely helped her to be able to say bon dia, boutade, whatever.
Is that the lady in Intermarché who sells the little crafts pieces? Yes.
And she lives just next to Centre de Sade, at the home we were talking about.
We were talking about where they did the sensory centre. We helped them buy the sensory centre. Yeah, and we also helped Carslars. We bought them a car, didn't we? Or was
of course we did. We bought a big Peugeot, whatever seater it was, and they had our name on. They got our name on the back of it. So yeah, we did that. We've done a lot of things that a lot of people can't remember. At my age, you can't remember everything.
Well, I remember I went, I think, when they were giving the car, and they said otherwise they don't have the transport just to be able to take kids to the beach or to doctor's appointments and things. So it was a real help for them.
Yeah, it was a real help.
Yeah. And the last thing I think we need to talk about is thanking the advertisers, right, who keep us going.
Well, I've worked with them now for 12, 13 years with the magazine, and we hardly ever have a problem. And if we do, we try and resolve it there and then. Otherwise, you get an upset customer. Yeah. So they've been loyal, they've been good payers, they've been a good mix of clients to deal with.
Yeah. And obviously, if we didn't have advertisers, the magazine wouldn't exist. So,
Exactly.
and also, I think it's good that they support the community, because if it wasn't for them, we wouldn't be able to do this charity work. So the people that advertise with us are helping towards all
Definitely.
that. Yeah. So thank you so much, Tom, for participating in the very first podcast, Talk About Tomorrow. How do you think it went?
Bloody marvellous under the circumstances.
Well, very glad to hear it. And please join us for our next podcast, Talk About Tomorrow. And it's been a pleasure being with you today. My name is Sophie Sadler, and I'm the editor of Tomorrow magazine. And this is our new podcast, Talk About Tomorrow.